There are days when your body turns to lead. You get up, but not really. You drag your feet to the bathroom, look at your reflection, and feel that something inside you has gone out. It isn't physical tiredness. It's something else, something deeper, something you can't name. And then that voice comes, "I just want to go back to bed." It isn't laziness. It isn't weakness. It's your soul screaming in a language you've forgotten how to decipher. You've spent months, maybe years, ignoring those signals. You convinced yourself that it's normal to feel empty, that everyone lives like this, dragging themselves through routines that mean nothing. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That desire to stay lying down all day isn't surrender. It's a silent rebellion. Your inner self refuses to keep pretending that the life you've built is really yours. Thoreau saw it clearly when he went to Walden. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. You are one of them. You get up every morning without knowing why. You fulfill obligations you never chose. And at the end of the day, you wonder where the time went. That heaviness you feel isn't accidental. It's the weight of living someone else's life. Every time you ignore what you truly want, you add another brick to that invisible load that now has you pinned to the couch. The bed became your refuge because it's the only place where you don't have to pretend. There are no masks there, no expectations, no judgments, just you and the silence you fear so much because when you finally stay still, you hear what you've been avoiding. The truth. Do you know what the greatest lie they sold you was? That being busy is synonymous with being alive. They told you success is measured in productivity, in how many things you cross off a list, in how much you produce, in how much you consume. A lie. Life isn't an endurance competition. It isn't about seeing who can hold out the longest without falling apart. And yet, there you are, running on a wheel like a hamster, wondering why each lap feels emptier than the last. Your body is telling you something, but you're misinterpreting it. You think it's depression, that it's a lack of vitamins, that it's the weather, that it's anything except the obvious. You're living in a way that betrays your essence. When all you want is to stay in bed, you aren't running away from life. You're running away from the lie. The lie that what others think matters. The lie that you need that job you hate. The lie that if you stop, you'll fall behind. Behind what? A race you never asked to run? A goal someone else put in your path? The soul doesn't understand deadlines or quotas. The soul only knows when it's being betrayed. And when it is, it shuts down. Not all at once, not dramatically, but little by little, like a candle burning down in a room without air. First, you lose enthusiasm for the things that used to matter, then you lose the energy to pretend they matter, and finally you lose the desire to get up. That's where you are now. But here's what no one tells you. That collapse is an opportunity. Seneca wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, but to truly live, not just survive. Because that's what you've been doing, surviving. Letting days pass without feeling them, checking boxes without understanding why, and now your body refuses to keep cooperating with that farce. That feeling of not wanting to move is your survival instinct, not your weakness. Your subconscious mind knows that if you keep going like this, something in you will break beyond repair. So it stops you. It forces you to pause, even though you misinterpret it as failure. Society programmed you to feel guilty when you aren't productive. They taught you that resting is wasting time, that stillness is for the weak, that only lazy people stay in bed. That's why you punish yourself every time your body asks for a pause. But listen to this. Rest isn't the enemy. Purposeless hyperactivity is. You're exhausted not because you do too much, but because you do things that don't resonate with who you truly are. Every task that doesn't fulfill you is a small wound, imperceptible at first, but cumulative. And now you carry so many open wounds that your whole system says enough. Thoreau spent 2 years in a cabin because he understood something fundamental. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Most people reach the end with that same realization, but too late. You have the advantage of feeling that alarm now, that weight in your chest, that lack of motivation, that constant need to escape to bed. All of that is your soul knocking on the door, demanding that you pay attention. But what do? You ignore it. You drink another coffee, distract yourself with your phone, turn the music up loud so you don't have to hear the silence. You do anything except face the question that's burning inside you. What am I living like this for? Here's the part that hurts. You don't have an answer. Or worse, the answer you have isn't yours. It's the one your parents wanted, the one society expects, the one your friends approve of. But it isn't yours. And as long as you live responding to others' expectations, you'll keep feeling that emptiness, that disconnection, that existential heaviness that no pill can cure. Because the problem isn't in your brain, it's in your life. You're building something that doesn't reflect who you are, and your soul knows it. That's why it rebels, why it sabotages you, why every morning is a battle lost before it begins. Do you want to know why you feel this way? Because you're betraying your nature. Humans weren't designed to live in concrete cages, following absurd schedules, chasing numbers on screens. We were made to create, to explore, to connect with something bigger than ourselves. But they convinced you that this is idealism, that adult life is about giving up dreams and accepting mediocrity as a victory. And you accepted it. You let yourself be domesticated, turned into just another cog in the machine. And now that machine is grinding you down. Most people never wake up. They stay on autopilot until one day they realize they spent their entire lives doing what others wanted. You have the chance to wake up now, but it won't be easy. Waking up means accepting that you lost time, that you made wrong decisions, that you lived for others instead of for yourself. And that hurts. It hurts so much that most people prefer to stay asleep, to keep dragging themselves along, to choose the familiarity of known suffering over the risk of the unknown. Nietzsche put it bluntly. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. What is your why? Do you really have one? Because if your only reason to get up is to pay bills, avoid disappointing others, or keep up appearances, then you don't have a why, you have a chain. And chains don't support you, they drag you down. That's why it's so hard for you to move. It's not that you can't, it's that your soul refuses to keep being complicit in its own destruction. That desire to stay lying down all day is your unconscious begging you to stop. To stop running nowhere, to sit with yourself and have the uncomfortable conversation you've been avoiding. The conversation about what you really want, not what you should want. About who you are when no one is watching. About what you would do if you knew you couldn't fail. Those questions terrify you because the answers imply change. And change is scary. But do you know what's scarier? Reaching the end and realizing you were never brave. The bed is comfortable because it asks nothing of you. There you don't have to be strong, successful, productive. There you can simply be. And that's what your soul longs for. To be, without conditions, without expectations, without judgment. The problem is that you confused that longing with surrender. But it isn't surrender, it's a call. A call to reinvent yourself, to rebuild your life from scratch, to let go of everything that doesn't belong to you. And yes, that involves sacrifice. It involves disappointing people, leaving jobs behind, letting go of relationships that no longer resonate. It involves facing the fear of what people will say, and walking alone if necessary. Thoreau left civilization behind because he understood that sometimes you have to step away from the noise to truly hear yourself. You don't need to go to a forest, but you do need to step away from the mental clamor that keeps you distracted. You have to create space for silence, even if that silence makes you uncomfortable. Because it's in silence that you find the answers you've been looking for in the wrong places. The answers aren't in more activity, more achievements, more external validation. They're inside you, waiting for you to finally stop and listen. The paradox is this. You think staying in bed is wasting time, but in reality, wasting time is continuing to run in the wrong direction. There's a brutal difference between productive rest and self-destructive escapism. Productive rest is when you stop to recalibrate, to reconnect with your essence, to heal. Escapism is when you run away from facing what's broken. Which one are you living? If you stay in bed because you simply can't stand the life you've built, then it isn't rest, it's an emergency signal. Your body is wiser than your mind. The mind can lie to itself, convince itself that everything is fine while it's falling apart inside. But the body doesn't lie. When your back hurts for no apparent reason, when it's hard to breathe with no medical cause, when you lose your appetite or eat compulsively, when all you want is to sleep and not wake up, your body is telling you something is deeply wrong. And the worst thing you can do is ignore it, because the body always collects the bill sooner or later. You can medicate, distract, numb yourself, but eventually the check comes. And when it does, it's much higher than what you would have paid if you had paid attention in time. Epictetus summed it up like this: Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. But here's the problem. You don't even know which of your views are truly yours. You've lived so long according to others' expectations that you lost sight of what you think, what you want, what you feel when no one is watching. You've lived for the gallery for so long that you forgot what it feels like to live for yourself. And now, when you try to connect with your inner world, you find nothing. Just a deafening emptiness that terrifies you. But that emptiness isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the blank canvas on which you can build something authentic. The problem is that the responsibility of that freedom scares you. Because if you admit you can change, then you also admit that what you have now is the result of your choices. And that means accepting that you've been complicit in your own suffering. It hurts, I know, but it also liberates. Because if your decisions brought you here, then your decisions can take you out. The question isn't whether you can change. The question is whether you're willing to pay the price. Because real change isn't comfortable. It isn't reading an inspiring book and feeling good for 3 days. It's dismantling everything you thought you knew about yourself and starting over. It's facing the shame of admitting you were wrong, that you wasted time, that you chose poorly. It's letting go of the version of yourself you built to please others and embracing the raw, imperfect, authentic version you've been hiding. And that version is scary, because it doesn't come with guarantees. It doesn't come with social approval. It doesn't come with an instruction manual. Here's the secret Thoreau discovered at Walden. A simple life isn't an easy life. It's an honest life. When you remove everything superfluous, everything you do out of obligation or appearance, you're left with what's essential. And the essential is terrifying because it's yours, completely yours. You can't blame anyone else if you fail. You can't hide behind excuses. But you also can't credit anyone else for your success. It's yours, for better or worse. And that total ownership of your life is what gives you real power. Most people prefer the comfort of irresponsibility. They prefer to blame the system, luck, circumstances, other people. Because taking total responsibility means accepting that if your life is miserable, you had something to do with it. And that's unbearable for the ego. That's why people stay in jobs they hate, in relationships that destroy them, in cities that suffocate them. Because changing means admitting they could have done it sooner and didn't. It means facing regret, and regret is the slowest poison. But listen to this. The regret for what you didn't do always weighs more than the regret for what you tried and failed at. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your mind tells you that staying in bed is the solution, but your soul knows it isn't. Your soul wants you to get up and rebuild, but not from the same place, from a new one, from a place of truth. And now that we've made it this far, before we continue, I want to present the following to you. Our book, The Formula of Awakening, is now available. Do you feel like there's something inside you that wants to awaken, but you don't know where to start? Then I invite you to transform your way of thinking, and with it, your way of living. Discover who you can become. Start today. The link to get the ebook is in the first pinned comment of this video. Grab your copy now at a great price. With that said, let's continue with the video. Do you know what the cruelest irony is? The people who most encourage you to keep going as you are also the ones who are trapped. Because if you free yourself, they have to face their own cage. That's why they'll tell you to be realistic, not to take risks, to think about security. They don't do it for you. They do it for themselves. Because your courage reminds them of their cowardice. Your movement exposes their stagnation. And instead of being inspired, they feel attacked. That's why you can't expect support from those who live in the same prison as you. Support will come from those who already got out, from those who already understood that life isn't a race to the grave. So, what do you do now? Do you stay lying down waiting for something to change by magic? Or do you accept that you're the only one responsible for your life and start acting accordingly? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to save you. There is no hero waiting to rescue you from your own life. If you want to get out of this hole, you have to start digging upward, even if it hurts, even if it's slow, even if no one applauds you. Salvation doesn't come from outside. It comes from within, and it begins when you decide you've had enough. Your soul isn't broken. It's tired of being ignored. That desire to stay lying down all day isn't weakness. It's the last line of defense before total collapse. It's your internal system saying, if you don't stop now, you're going to destroy yourself. And you can choose to listen, or you can keep pushing until something breaks irreversibly. The choice is yours. It always has been, even if you've spent years pretending it isn't. Kierkegaard said, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom." You feel anxious because deep down you know you're free. Free to change, free to leave, free to start over. But that freedom paralyzes you because it implies responsibility. It means accepting that your life is the result of your choices, not your circumstances. And once you accept that, you can't keep being a victim. You have to be the protagonist. And the protagonist doesn't stay in bed waiting for the ending. They get up and write their own story, even if the script is terrifying. The world isn't going to change to adapt to you. Circumstances aren't going to improve on their own. Time isn't going to heal what you don't face. You can stay there, in bed, waiting for something external to give you a reason to get up. Or you can accept that the reason has to come from within. That no one else can give you purpose, that no one else can give you direction. Only you. And that is the greatest gift and the heaviest burden at the same time. So get up. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. get up and face the life you've been avoiding. Ask yourself, without filters, which parts are truly yours and which you built for others. Ask yourself what you would keep if no one were watching. Ask yourself what you would do if fear didn't exist. And then start moving in that direction, even if it's just a small step, even if everything in you trembles. Because the alternative is to stay where you are, feeling a little emptier, a little more disconnected, a little more dead inside every day. Thoreau didn't go to the woods to escape, it's to the world. He went to find himself. You don't need a forest. You need honesty. Brutal honesty with yourself about what's working and what isn't. About what fills you and what drains you. About who you are and who you're pretending to be. And once you have that clarity, the path reveals itself. It won't be easy, but it will be yours. And that's the only thing that truly matters.